Hey guys, up, it's AndrewAJT back for another video for you guys, and today on the first day of the new year, I'm going to give you guys an update on my Inferno progress. Also, we're going to talk about some more strategies I've learned while doing the Inferno, as well as looking at my Triple Jads and TzKal-Zuk attempts, so hope you guys enjoy. If you guys haven't seen my video on Justicar armor and the Inferno, you may want to check that out first. I'll put that in the description. But basically the summary of that video is how good Justicar is in the Inferno. It allows you to tank a lot of monsters at once, and it basically eliminates some of the skill from it, in my opinion. It makes it a little bit easier, but it doesn't make TzKal and the Jads much easier, so you still really need to learn the skill and the strategy to get through the Inferno correctly. One thing I learned about the Inferno is you cannot do it on low sleep. This attempt took about 3 hours to get to wave 63, and I was so tired that I did not realize here that I was praying range with the Major on me, and Justicar armor has almost no magic defense, so I died in like 2 hits there from the Major, whereas if I prayed Mage, the armor would have worked and I would have been fine. So it's kind of difficult to get multiple attempts in per day because it takes such a long time that you might be kind of tired by the time you're finished one attempt that you really can't do multiple in a day, at least the way I'm doing it. If you do it really quick, then maybe you could do multiple attempts in a day. But if you're trying to conserve supplies, doing the Inferno quickly is not really an option. Let's see, what do we got here?
So...
Misclick, motherfucker. Nibbler. Dude, come on. Okay, run maybe...
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm heading out.
Yeah.
See you later. I think we're fine. Just gotta deal with this situation. Yeah, we actually have it lined up.
Yeah, it's fine, just leave it.
Let's heal up as well. So another thing you learn pretty quickly about the Inferno is really the only hard part of any wave, including the hell waves of 62 and 63, is the beginning of each wave. Once you get it to a situation like this where most of the monsters are trapped and you can kind of find little tricks to deal with them one at a time, it's really not very difficult at all. The regen bracelet I actually did stick with in the end. I mentioned this in the previous video. It sounds very newbie to not use Barrow's gloves, but the regen bracelet gives you a good safety net in the later waves when, if you're not really sure if you can get to 99 HP with SGS specs based on the monsters remaining, the regen bracelet gives you a nice safety net to get to 99 HP if you're willing to wait an extra 5 or 10 minutes just because of the double restoration rate. That looks good to me.
Yeah. Run west.
Could we get something out of this?
So, yeah, you should be praying melee right now, and kill the melee.
Okay. Real quick. I don't like this at all. Pray range, I guess, soon.
Well, do not turn off melee. Pray range as soon as the thing dies, put on just this year and Ellie.
Maybe I can just kill him real quick. This guy dies so quick, so...
You're in melee range of him?
Yeah, trying to get out of the way. I think I need to brew here.
Brew.
Yeah, why are we wasting?
Yeah, literally, because after this, you won't be using much. So, like, the brews are for right.
Okay. That was a massive panic.
Yeah, I didn't even see your health.
So while I'm going to survive wave 63, the hardest of the normal waves, that was an incredible waste of supplies. And it's very sad when that happens because you know that you really need those supplies for the Triple Jads and TzKal-Zuk, but you just have to move on, learn from your mistakes. At this point, I've only had one attempt at Triple Jads while recording this clip, so any extra attempts at Triple Jads and TzKal-Zuk potentially that I can get is all for the better. I tried using the west pillar there, which is the one that's kind of attached to the wall, and honestly I don't think it's that worth it without a lot of experience. There are situations where it's like amazing, but it's hard to recognize those situations quickly. Another thing I'm going to try, speaking of supplies, is switching to an Amulet of Fury, and this will mean that I don't have to bring an Occult Necklace and an Anguish, and I could bring either one extra brew or Super Restore. I'm not sure if I'll stick with this because the Anguish gives a nice range bonus, which could help versus TzKal-Zuk, but it's not that significant, and the extra defense of the Fury could come in handy as well as the prayer bonus, and the magic damage from the occult necklace is not very significant against the nibblers. So there's not a lot of new stuff to report about the normal Jad. I've done Jad in my life like 50 times, so it's really not very difficult to do it again in the Inferno. One thing I'm looking into is maybe bringing one less range pot and then just not using a range dose at all for the normal Jad on wave 67, because that one extra restore, or Sandfew now, or brew could come in handy, and normal Jad is just quite easy, so there's really no need to bring a range pot for him. One issue I noticed is that the healers actually have quite good magic defense. This is actually something that Ancestral or Arims would help with quite a bit, because it would allow you to blood barrage the healers quite reliably, especially because there's 6 of them here. You could easily heal to full, but I don't think it's worth bringing the magic armor over 2 extra brews or 2 extra restores or Sandfews. You will probably eventually hit, as you see here, so the main thing you're using is more prayer, and you're also risking messing up the Jad prayer switches for a little bit longer, which in my opinion is not too huge of a risk. So in the previous video I showed my first Triple Jads attempt, and here's the second one, which I got a little farther. I almost killed that one Jad, which would have been a big deal because once you kill one it gets significantly easier. So for my second ever attempt at Triple Jad, I think that was pretty good. Here is my third ever attempt at Triple Jads, which was successful, but you're going to see here the problem is I don't have that many supplies left. So yeah, it took me my third attempt to complete Triple Jads, which I say is pretty good. 2 failed attempts, and then I completed the third one. I would show all of the attempts at Triple Jads, but this video would be like over 20 minutes long. So instead I'm going to show you my next attempt at Triple Jads, which is a quite good one. I'm going to show you both TzKal fights that I have as well after that. So just like the fact that the beginning of each wave is the hardest, this is no different with the Triple Jads, except you don't have a safe spot to lure these two, you just have to kill them. And so my goal here is just kill the northeast one as quick as possible while being safe. And you actually have quite a bit of time to react to the prayers. Like, people think it's so difficult, but really if you are relaxed, and I spent about 5 minutes just sitting at my desk relaxing and deep breathing before I started this fight. If you are relaxed, it's really not that hard to react and do the prayers correctly. When I used to run Ocarina of Time as a speedrun, there were tricks where you would have to press a button within 1/20th of a second window, like 1 frame trick. This you have like 1 or 2 seconds for every prayer switch, so it's really not that hard to do this if you're focusing correctly. So you have a choice as to which Jad to kill first. Traditional logic would say kill the south one first, because when the healers show up, a lot of them will actually get trapped behind Jad when they come to attack you, which means that you're taking less damage. But I find that it's a lot easier to see the northeast one, so that's the one I go with typically. So you see there the northeast Jad has finally died, which should make things a little bit more manageable from here on. So watch the north Jad attacks, then the south Jad attacks, then there's this huge delay after that before the north Jad attacks again, because that would have been the time that the northeast Jad attacks me, but he is now dead. So there's actually every cycle this big time gap where I can drink a Sandfew here or drink a restore or whatnot. And again, I still have to be pretty careful, because if I do mess up one hit, you know, these guys can hit around 100 or so and I can die. So I do have to be very careful, and I actually make a dumb decision here going east, and that actually frees up a healer to come and attack me, but it was really just a comfort thing. I wanted a better view of both of them, so, you know, sometimes doing the comfortable thing here rather than the optimal thing can actually save your life. I mean, who knows, maybe I would have been fine if I stayed there, but I just felt more comfortable moving for some reason. One thing that's definitely hard about it is, like, unlike a speedrun where you might have to do a really hard trick and then you get to watch a cutscene for 5 minutes and relax, there's no relaxing here. You really have to keep your focus, and even when one Jad is dead, you can't get complacent and think, okay, it's getting easier now. You have to be laser focused for like 5 or 10 minutes straight, which is not easy for some people to do, or really anyone to do. But now that I have this Jad as the only one, it should get much easier, because now it's like doing a normal Jad, and I can actually focus up on healing rather than just pure going for the kill. So one idea that I came up with mid-fight after a pretty good blood barrage there was to do a couple SGS specs. Unfortunately, one of them missed, but the second one did hit, and the SGS restores prayer and HP, whereas blood barrage is only going to restore HP, so it's worth a try. As you see there, I actually stood around doing nothing for a second while I waited for the prayer switch. This was because I had to change armor, and I know the prayer switch is the most important thing, so I might as well just take things one step at a time rather than try to do too much and mess up and die. So here's me completing Triple Jads for the second time, and if you had told me when I was 12 years old doing my first ever Fire Cape that there would come a day when I'm doing 3 Jads at once, I probably would have told you you're completely crazy. But if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. As you see here, we have Triple Jads done again with a lot more supplies for Zuk. So I'm going to show you both my Zuk attempts now, and the first attempt here is the one where I did not have a lot of supplies going in, and the second one will be after the Triple Jads you just saw, which I had a decent amount of supplies to end up with. And there's no way to sugarcoat it. These attempts were pretty bad. I did not make it very far in these attempts, but I think I learned a little bit from them. I was using tile markers here, the one I just ran to here, that I think are not great. I think I actually should move them a little bit out farther. I think the ones I'm using were kind of from an outdated guide. Now you kind of want your tile markers to be a little bit closer to the edges from what I understand. I have to do a little bit more research on this, but I was getting hit here when I thought I would not get hit. The main thing, and I can't really give you guys advice on Zuk because I haven't actually beaten Zuk yet. It's like I've seen videos like, oh, 99 rune crafting guide, and they're 80 rune crafting. It's like, what the hell? You can't make the guide until you at least get the accomplishment. You really need to follow the shield is what I'm understanding. You know, no matter what, follow the shield. It's like the prayer switches on Jad. Like, you know, even if you're just going to sit there, you have to do the prayer switches. Well, it's the same thing with the shield. So that attempt obviously wasn't great, but not that bad for my first attempt. This attempt, I'm still using what I consider maybe not the best tile markers, so I did move them after this. There is also an option to just get rid of the tile markers completely because, you know, you do have to learn to follow the shield either way, especially because the Zuk hits speed up at the end of the fight. The tile markers might not work anymore, and then you're kind of on your own. I think I still want to give the tile markers a try, so I'm not going to remove them yet. Did actually trail too far behind the shield there and got hit. That was my main problem in this attempt, was I was just trailing the shield too often. You kind of want to be in front of the shield from what I'm understanding rather than like right behind it. Although you can pretty much go wherever you want in between the Zuk hits, it's just you have to be back behind the shield at the right time. So you actually have to make a choice whether or not you want to run or walk during this fight. And if you walk, it's good because the shield is moving at walking speed. So you'll stay the same distance behind the shield the entire time. And you could actually still press control whenever you want to run, which is also an option, but I'm not really used to doing that, so I might just stick with running. With running, you have to kind of stutter step behind the shield, as you see here, to stay the same distance, which can be a little difficult, but at least you have control to fix your mistakes, and I'm just not used to pressing control to run. That I think would be very weird to me to have to press the keyboard to run, so I think I'll stick with running, but let me know if you guys have any knowledge on this. Justice R definitely does have a use against Zuk, actually, which I wasn't sure of going in. If you're in a situation like this where you need to tank a lot of hits, the Justice R armor is very nice here. And I did make my fatal error here. I clicked to go on the correct spot, but I clicked to attack the Ranger too early. And that means that I did not make it all the way to the correct spot where I would have been safe, and I died because I got hit again. And the Ranger was almost dead, which would have prolonged the fight significantly. So it kind of sucks, but I made it, you know, a little farther that time. It's going to be baby steps, but it's definitely a very difficult thing to do. So that's going to do it for this video today, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm doing Inferno attempts kind of here and there, not necessarily every day or even every week. This week I haven't done any because I've been super busy with work and, you know, family coming over on the holidays. It's kind of a busy time of year, but I don't really think it's a bad thing to spread out your attempts. I tend to feel a lot more refreshed when it's a few days between attempts. You know, if you just die and then you run back in, chances are you're going to be impatient and you're not going to really take your time with things when you need to. So I don't actually think it's a bad thing to space out your attempts a little bit and give yourself a breather. I've also had more wrist pain recently, which really sucks, although I did notice for me the little 5-minute breaks you get waiting for SGS specs in the Inferno helped me a little bit with that. So please leave a like if you enjoyed, guys. That would really help me out, and I would appreciate that a lot. You can subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I try to upload once a week, and you could also click the bell to get notifications whenever I do upload, so you won't miss any videos. So if you're looking for a clan chat to join, you can feel free to join ours. It is AndrewAJT62. Don't forget the 62 at the end. The 62 is from the old YouTube name I had. Eventually I took off the 62 and the clan chat name still had it, obviously, so it's hard to really edit that out of old videos. But anyway, you can feel free to join ours if you're looking for one to join. Even if you can't, you can feel free to join the Discord down below, and anyone's welcome there. For the entire YouTube viewership, I'm thinking of doing a boss mass in January. I'm thinking maybe Zami, and this will be open to anyone. You know, if you're in the clan chat, not in the clan chat, in the Discord, not in the Discord, you can invite your friends. I'll give you guys more information about that in the coming weeks, but the information will be in the videos and in the Discord. And lastly, you can follow me on Twitter down below for updates. I'll follow you back if you play RS. And you can follow me on Twitch down below. If I do a boss mass, it'll definitely be streamed on my Twitch channel, so you can check that out. You can also support me on Patreon if you really want to. Your support there is optional, but it could mean that I spend less time working my day job and more time editing videos for you guys, which is pretty cool. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Hope you guys are having a great new year, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks, guys.